Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. Now, with that said, I'm bringing this little thing about the mask up because I have had a little bit of experience with dust mask and things like that over the my many years as a machinist and as a carpenter and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, but let's talk about viral things. Now, a lot of people are thinking that a mask is going to save them. Now, let's just go through this. The particle mask is not designed to keep out any type of virus. Period. A dust mask, which most people are going for, if you have any kind of respiratory issue and the mask doesn't fit around your face, like a mask is not going to do me any good whatsoever because I have a beard. Now, but as far as a dust mask is concerned, if I'm working in the shop and I'm working on a wood project, um, Joe, hi, Gerald, how are you? Good evening, Hawkeye. Yes, how are you? Thank you. You're welcome. And Julie, I can't pronounce it right now. Hi there, Jewel Lotica, something like that. Blessings, y'all. But anyway, the people are trying to fight over these masks and things, and here's one of the things that people aren't even thinking about. Okay, so you got this mask on. What are you doing with your hands? All right, so if you come in contact with something, if you suck it into your mask, the more the mask filters, the harder it is to breathe. So when I worked in machine shops and stuff like that, they had a strict code. If we wanted a dust mask, we couldn't have a beard. So I was like, well, what do you mean? Because it won't fit. But we had dust particles from grinders and grinding dust. I mean, we were sitting like a pig pen from Charlie Brown, in a hail of dust. And anything that would not go into our lungs and up in our nostrils um, was, a benefit to us. But in learning about that over the many years working in the machine shops and so forth, and how valid is a mask. Now, the masks that people want are not designed to stop any kind of virus. They're not, the weave is wrong. And if it were tight enough to stop a virus, they wouldn't be able to breathe through the mask. They'd suck in around the edges. And trust me, no mask is perfect. Number two, if I'm counting down things, number two is that you're going to handle the mask. So you've breathed the virus into the particles of your mask. So unless you're in a white room when you get home or wherever you're going, you're going to touch the mask. And when you're going to touch the mask with your hands or your gloves. And so people who think that the mask is going to keep it from inhaling it, they're going to get it on their skin. It's going to be on their pores. It's going to be on them. So whether you inhale it or not is sort of like pay attention. So it can be on any kind of little thing, the virus can. And they're talking about, that it's pretty, it'll last a certain amount of time and all that. It'll last on a surface. So anything that you touch, but to the point about the mask, it's useless. It's absolutely useless. The best thing you can do, you could wear a handkerchief, you would be just as good as to do one of these kerchiefs and do your and pretend to that you're from the Wild West and mask. Okay, you can flip it up, take it off, and help yourself out. Put it in the wash right away. This will do you just as much good, and it's only a buck at the dollar store, or maybe $2. This will do you just as much good as a dust mask will. Okay. The whole point, though, is that you wash your hands, you stay healthy, if you're going to be around a crowd or whatever. Now, when somebody said, well, I don't really want to look like, from the James gang or one of the Dalton gang or something like that. But to the point, though, don't you think you look silly with a mask on your face in public? Come on. Where do you want to go with this? But to the other side of this is that it's useless because you're going to have to handle the mask with your hands somehow. That's my point. It's not that, oh, well, the mask could help you out in a big situation or something like that. But how are you going to dispose of the mask? Are you going to wear rubber gloves? What are you going to do with the rubber gloves? And if it's that um, uh, resilient in our atmosphere, in our daily life, then what good is a mask going to do us? Okay. A handkerchief is going to do you just as much good, and maybe even better, because they're a little easier to breathe, blah, 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 blah. You can change colors, and you can wash them and do whatever you want to them and put smell good on them, like, ooh, this really smells good. I used Downy last time on anyway, but to the point, though, the idea, though, that the mask is going to save you, nah, you'd have to have a whole headgear with oxygen. That's the only thing. If it's going to do you any good, that's the only thing that's going to do you any good. The biggest thing to do, and as I've, many of you know, I listen to Dante regularly, and I absolutely agree with him when he was talking about it. And, home remedies, hot toddies back in the day, a little bit of good bourbon or some, Kentucky whiskey, or, if gin is your choice or whatever. But, I've never been one for that too much. But, a little hot toddy with some water and some lemon or some lime or something like that, or even orange, the citrus of it. It will do you as much good as any other thing. And staying healthy, keep your hands washed. Not so crazy. There are people who wash their hands so much that any kind of bacteria now that gets on them, their body can't fight. Over the years, then playing in the dirt and out in the garden and down in the woods, there are times when I'm like, well, there's a little bit of dirt on it. Yeah, okay. And you brush it off and eat it. If somebody says, well, you should be dead. Yeah, I think so. Maybe, tried that. Hey there, Candy. How are you? I used to make candy apples on the carnival back when I was growing up as a kid. Sold thousands of them, by the way. This is a public service. If people want to try to get you all mixed up about this thing, about a mask and all this other kind of stuff, you can tie a sock across your face. It will do you just as much good. Buy yourself a long tube sock and pull it around your face. Do you just as much good. But the idea, though, that you're going to have to dispose of the mask, you're going to have to take the sock off, you're going to have to touch it. So unless you follow a certain protocol, the idea of protecting your lungs is like, forget about it. Seriously. Stay healthy. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this particular subject. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Did I get that right, Candy? My mom's only craving was dirt when pregnant with me 57 years ago. There are old timers, and I've talked about this before, but there's a really good thing about that. And the bottom of my dug well up here on the hill is in white clay. And a lot of folks around here have special places that they have been going for years, and they dig the clay out. And I go, what do you do with it? And they go, we eat it. Now, about 12 miles from here, as the crow flies, are some huge open pit mines where they mine kitty litter. And it's the same type of clay that's in the bottom of my well. So every time I make coffee or anytime I drink water, I'm getting a certain particulate of these, of the clay. And there are people over the years that said, well, that's going to kill you. Well, come to find out, actually, I think it's what's cured me of some of my ailments, in that I have this constant stream of these small particles of clay, which, guess what, absorb toxic metals and things and poisons out of me. I mean, I'm in better shape now than I was several years ago. So, but there are many people, and I've talked about this story before. It was in Alabama, Selma, Alabama, several years ago, and stopped at a convenience store to get a soda, and they had these little bags of white clay sitting on the counter, and I said, "What's this?" And they were like $15 for this little quarter bag of clay, and I said, "What's this for?" And she goes, "Well, people buy it." And I said, "What do they do with it?" She looked at me and she goes, "Son," there were two black ladies, very nice black ladies behind the counter. They looked at each other and went, "Well, son, well, you eat it. That's what you do with it." And I was like, "I don't have to. I got a whole well. I got acres I'm sitting on top of if I dig down deep enough." But to the point though, um, eating dirt may not be that bad. Why? A couple of things. You actually get certain minerals depending on the dirt you're eating. Now, I'm not advocating everybody go out and get dirt, but there are people who've been going, old timers around here, my age and much older, the ones that are still alive anyway, go to these open pit mines where there is clay, and they hack them out a chunk of it and take it back to the house. And every month or so, they go down, they go fishing in the pond, hack them out a little piece of the clay, and they add it to their diet. And who's to say that they're right or wrong? Because now everybody's into this thing about eating this clay and doing this thing. And some of these old timers around here have been doing it for centuries, literally. They've known about some of these places around here for a long, long time. Anyway, but to the idea though of the virus though, and will a mask help you? Only in certain circumstances, and you might as well just get yourself a bandana. I mean, seriously. If you have to avoid public places, we don't know how far this is going to go. There's a lot of discussion about that it was manufactured, and it was this, most of them are manufactured. Let's just get that straight. But regardless of who, why did they start it? Well, to see how many they could get rid of us, but we kind of know that, right? So, but what's the best defense? The best defense is good offense, staying healthy, keeping yourself in good shape, keeping your mental attitude. Don't let these people creep you out. Oh, the mask. Oh, the this. Oh, the that. Oh, please. Just stay healthy. Healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And that'll do you more good than any of this other stuff that they're trying to put on you. And just be careful. So, my friends, I plans to do another video. Brian and Milky Way is going to be doing a show tonight at 10, and I was thinking about doing one at about 11:20, 11:30, my usual time in the evenings. And it's about and this has been tossing around in my head for a couple of weeks, and they kind of want me to talk about it. And it's, what if you met you from another alternate universe or from a parallel universe? What if you met you? What would you do? How would you react? What if you were, this other you was like a complete and total, nut job or a whack job, whatever. Anyway, so it's going to be a discussion about that. Candy says, that's why I was born well-grounded. Good for you. They also, Debbie says, they also eat it in Africa. That's dirt, you mean? Hoppies do that. The minerals are what we are missing. Absolutely. It's a smoke screen, says Debbie, for the war that started. Look at Europe. We sent 30,000 soldiers there 2 days ago. Yeah. Love y'all too. But yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of stuff that's going on, and those of us are aware, pay attention to the news. There's craziness, but the best thing to do to stay ahead of it is to not get involved in their chaos. That's my number one rule of thumb. Pay attention, but keep your emotions out of it. Many people, as I've talked about being the compassionate observer, it's really meant something in their lives because it rang true to them, being the compassionate observer, in that you keep an eye on everything and you help out where you can and where you're needed. But otherwise, you keep your stuff to you. And you stay stronger, and it'll make you stronger. So, my friends, until next time, tune in with Milky Way tonight at 10 o'clock. I can't remember what the title is, but hang out with him. And so y'all stay strong, understand that there's a lot more to whatever's going on. and keep yourself healthy. So, and a mask really isn't going to help you, honest to goodness, unless you can go into a white room and all that. And none of us have got that. So, but anyway, I love to you all, and I always close with a prayer. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom of the universe with all your friends, your relatives, and all of your relations. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will continue to accept and receive and continue to share the wisdom and the knowledge and the blessings from the universe. Pamela, it's so good to see you. Blessings to you. I have been sending out little quiet prayers. I haven't seen you in a while, and hoping that things are well in your world. So we'll do a video later on tonight. Maybe we can do some catch up, but it'll be about what if you met you? What would you do? Blessings, everyone. And keep it between the ditches. And from South Georgia, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Blessings all.